Hey there, Rednecks, Preppies, Redneck Preppies. It's me, the Redneck Preppy. How you doing today? Great? Good. Lighters. Many have them in their survival kits because they're simple to use. Now, there are some caveats with them. They don't work particularly well when they're cold, and they stop working when they're wet. Despite that, it's not a bad idea to actually have them in a kit. I personally prefer to consider lighters as a secondary fire source after, fire steel, ferro rods, mostly because those last much longer than a lighter, but your mileage or preference may vary. That said, most people are content with just a plain lighter in their kits, but here at Redneck Preppy, we don't like plain, no sir. So today I'm going to show you how to quickly put together a gussied up lighter that can actually serve a couple of purposes. Let's get at her. Now, obviously we're going to start with a lighter itself. Seems obvious. I have a stock Bic lighter here, but if something else works for you, have at her. I prefer brighter colors for my lighters that are in survival kits, like orange or yellow or even pink. But unfortunately, the day I bought this one, all they had were white Toronto Maple Leafs lighters and black Rolling Stones lighters. At any rate, getting lost represents failure, and if there's any team that knows about loss and failure, it is the Leafs. So I went with this one. Now we're going to start off with the standard trick of putting a zip tie under the part here that allows lighter fuel to flow. I find a 6-inch zip tie works best, not because of the length, but because of the width. These zip ties are about 3.6 millimeters wide, which fits perfectly under most Bic lighter handles. Now you don't have to use a zip tie. You could just wrap some wire around the top of the lighter and achieve the same thing. So let's just get this going. Yeah, almost there, and we're there. Now to finish, we'll just clip off the excess right here. Bob's your uncle. You want to do a little bit better job just to remove this edge here, but this will do for the demonstration purposes of this video. Now, the one thing the zip tie gives you, if you do it right, is you can actually slide this on and off easily when you want to lose the lighter, and then put it back on in order to preserve your fuel once you put it back in your pocket or your survival kit. Now, that done, we can move to the next step. This is completely optional, and that's adding a lanyard around it. Now, how long you want it is up to you. Whether you want to have it around your neck or as a short segment for tying or clipping to something like a backpack, or if you don't want one at all, that's up to you. Same goes for the type of cordage you use. To me, I would think thinner is better, as you don't want to bulk up the lighter too much. You can make it easier by starting by taping each side of a lanyard on either side of the lighter. I, however, am not going to use a lanyard because I don't like things hanging around my neck, so yoink. But that's an idea for you if you want. Now, the next step is to add duct tape. We all know that duct tape has a myriad of uses in survival situations, from ad hoc bandages to equipment repair. Of course, it also serves as a pretty good fire starter in a pinch. Now, I found that you can usually wrap about 40 inches or just over 3 feet of duct tape on a lighter like this before it gets a little too unwieldy. How much, though, you put up, that's up to you. So let's just measure about 40 inches. Well, this is just riveting YouTube video, isn't it? Okay, now we want to stop before we get to the end down, and this is for the next step if you choose to go this direction. Now, most people who modify lighters stop at this point, but we're only going to get started. Next, I'm going to wrap a length of jute twine around the lighter. Now, how much depends really on the thickness used. Jute twine burns well, and it can serve also as a tinder or as a wick. Plus, it never hurts to have a little bit of more cordage around, right? So we're going to place one end of this underneath the edge that we left up. That's just to secure it so it doesn't become overly loose as you manipulate the lighter, which can happen. Doesn't look pretty, but you know, we're here for survival purposes, my friends, not for prettiness. And we'll just wrap this around. And we'll just wrap it under an end just to make it pretty. Did I get it in there? No, I didn't get it in. Just keep your minds clean, folks. All right. Now, you've got your jute added.
But wait! There's more!
Ranger bands. The one last thing is step in how I make my lighters, and that's the addition of Ranger bands. They serve a few purposes. They aid in keeping everything together, and as everyone knows, you can use them as fire starter or tinder as well. Heck, presuming you don't cut off the blood supply, because that would be a real bad idea, you could even conceivably use one to secure, gauze on a wound or something like that. Now, the larger ones can burn for as long as 1 minute. These obviously less because they're far smaller. I think this is like half an inch. But still enough time to get a fire started, presuming that you've adequately prepared your tinder and wood beforehand. You'll probably be able to get 4 or 5 Ranger bands on here, depending on how wide they are. So we'll just, this one's already, it's already coming loose. Yeah, if I were to squeeze, I could probably get 5, but we'll be happy with 4. Well, you came loose. Well, we'll fix you later. And there you are, a lighter for a survival kit that not only makes fires, but has 3 different kinds of tinder attached fairly unobtrusively to it. And if you go with a lanyard option, one that will always be on your person. Imagination is the limit with this sort of thing, but it shows that you can make even a single-purpose item serve a multi-purpose role. The lighter now has tinder with it, and each one of these items can also be used for other multiple purposes. At any rate, I hope you found today's video to be vaguely entertaining and at least mildly informative. As always, I hope you never actually have to use your survival equipment outside of practicing with it to make sure you know how to use it. Take care, and bye-bye.